What is going to steal the headlines next season for Anaheim? Is it going to be the power duo of Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier? Is it going to be the rise of Lukáš Dostál? Find out that and more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayers. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan. I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But as always on Locked On Ducks, we're talking about the Anaheim Ducks, and we've got quite a bit to get to today. It's getting closer and closer and closer to the 25-26 NHL season. And as we get closer, I'm starting to think to myself, what are going to be the main storylines of this season? What are we going to be hearing about? What are the fans going to be focused on? What is going to steal the show? I'll get into three of those things today that I think will be the main storylines of this season, including the return of the captain, Dostál's confidence as number one, and the one I want to get to first is how well Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier will do together for a full season. I expect a totally new power play coming into this year with the new coaching staff, and I believe that Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier are going to be the main staple of at least the power play one unit. I think a lot's going to be built off of them. I believe they showed a lot last year on how well they can use their speed to their advantage, their playmaking, their ways to sniff out the goal. I think Cutter Gauthier is an absolute natural goal scorer, and with Leo Carlsson's playmaking ability, I expect them to be getting a lot of power play points this year. But even when it comes down to just their regular matchups 5-on-5, obviously, right now, it looks like they're going to be that top line, and I expect out of training camp that it's going to remain the same. The real question mark is who's going to be on the wing opposite of Cutter Gauthier. But regardless of who they put up there, I think they're going to have a massive year. The way that they were connecting at the end of last season, it's to be expected that they're going to have an increase in points together. I think the chemistry is only coming that much more potent in between the two of them. And I'm going to predict right now that it's going to be Chris Kreider on the opposite wing on that first line. And to have someone that knows how to sniff up the secondary scoring and, just be in the way, be in that slot area, kind of like Corey Perry used to do, it's just going to add that much more to their points. So to have a good, speedy veteran like Kreider, I did like having Alex Killorn up there with them. I felt like he was really involved with the forecheck and kind of helped bring a little bit of physicality to that line, as those two are still kind of getting into their NHL body and weight sizes and muscle mass and everything like that. But I think Kreider's going to be a better choice to have on the wing with them. He's also someone that's going to get involved in the forecheck, but he's a lot better at being in that danger area. Whereas I felt like Killorn, not saying that he is a perimeter type player and that's hit on him. I think there was a lot to do with Greg Cronin last year, really telling them to play the way that they were. And there was a lot of mistakes and just lack of options that I would have used. But that does come from the coaching decisions of last year. Moving in with Quenneville now and Jay Woodcroft and everything, I think that they're going to be implementing a much quicker pace for the team. There's going to be a lot more transitional type hockey. And those two really, when they were in their zone. And as Coach Chippy would say, don't think, just flow. When they were not thinking and just flowing, they were super quick on the breakouts. Their short 3 to 5 foot passes were tape to tape, bing, bang, boom, right in and out of the defensive zone, hustling through the neutral zone, and even attacking quickly into that offensive zone. Not a lot of dump and chase out of that line. And that dynamic's just going to come a lot stronger in this next season. I would love to see Leo Carlsson break the 70-point mark this year. Will it be this season? Maybe not, but that's my hope. And I don't want to say expectation, but that's where I would love to see him finish up. I think more in the 50 mark to 60 will be a given for him this year. On Cutter's end, I would like to see him. I made a mistake on a last episode and said that he didn't get to 20. I was thinking of Alex Killorn and how he was almost the, I think, sixth player to have 20 goals, and I mixed them up. But Cutter did get to that 20 goal mark. I would love to see him get to that 30 mark, as he spent about a month and a half at the beginning of the season putting a ton of shots on net, but just wasn't able to get them in. And now that he's got the confidence and the kind of the know-how in his own brain of, I can score in this league, I have the capability, I think Leo's just going to be right there setting him up. And it's really going to help Cutter also take more shots. And I don't want to say that he's an inaccurate shot, but I feel like he's going to feel more able to put shots towards net, knowing that you have someone like Chris Kreider right there ready to pick up the rebound. And they're going to be a little bit quicker on the pace and bringing a lot more movement and play in the center of the ice, because like I said, last year it just felt like there was a lot of perimeter plays, not a lot of penetration other than maybe a one-on-one rush, couple of 2-on-1s or 2-on-2s there and here and there, but there wasn't really an establishment in the offensive zone once that entry was made. It was a lot of one and dones, a lot of maybe a little bit of a good shot, and then maybe some play on the boards, some forechecking, but it never really, the puck would never really move back to the front of the net or to where they could really get a confident and strong scoring chance on net. So I think that's definitely going to change this year. I think with the overall pace that Quenneville's going to bring and the way that Jay Woodcroft will develop the power play, there's just a lot that's going to create opportunity for these two to really push themselves and really have a good season. I don't want to say a breakout season, because I feel like they're already kind of had that breakout season last year, but this will be the culmination of what happened at the end of last season and really implementing it into an entire 82 game season and having that strength and the chemistry together. And speaking of strength, that's another thing that's going to be a lot different, as these two are finally, they're getting older, they're getting into their 20s now, and that's going to be just a change in their muscle mass, a change in their workout habits, and just overall adjusting. I mean, Leo Carlsson was literally still growing his first season in the NHL. I think I don't know if his hip plates are still there or if that's a thing still, but to have a young kid that was still growing, playing in a 3-letter league at the NHL, that's fantastic. That's absurd. But now he's back, and I'm assuming the growing has finished, and now it can all just come into the muscle mass and really working on his strength as a center. And then Cutter, I think he's already a muscle, like he's pure man. He's already there. So he can really only go up from here. So expect a lot out of those two. I think they're going to be the ones really, really grabbing the headlines almost every single game. The Ducks highlight reels are going to be a lot of Cutter and Leo making some magic, followed up by either Chris Kreider or Mikael Granlund or whoever ends up on the other wing with them. So that's my first story. But we got to take a look at another young stud, both literally and figuratively. And we'll get into that right after this. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So unfortunately, it's not cash, but it's bonus bets, $300 worth of bonus bets. That's just that much more to win. And on FanDuel, it gets you into the game. I cannot wait for NHL to start, but with football, there's so many different things that you can look at on FanDuel, different parlays, different player stats, all these things are on FanDuel, and it just gets you that much more engaged. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting fanduel.com to get started. That's fanduel.com to place your first $5 bet. And we have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcasts.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Come on, somebody. Again, that's Locked On Podcasts with an S.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. So now that I've covered Leo and Cutter Gauthier there, Leo Carlsson, Cutter Gauthier, the dynamic duo that will be. Let's take a look at the man, the myth, the legend, Lukáš Dostál, or as better known in Orange Country, Dostal. So this is going to be Dostal's first official season as the guy. So last year, he basically become the 1A due to Gibson being out for injury. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen a healthy Gibson and Dostal tandem last year, but things happen the way that they happen. And so now Lukáš Dostál locks in a beautiful contract with Anaheim in the postseason, and now he's going to be the official 1A. When that happens, though, sometimes with these younger guys, there's that unheard pressure of, well, now you're the guy. You're the number one. You got to put your money where your mouth is. You had the success as the backup. I say in air quotes, backup goaltender, but now you're it. You're the main one. And the big thing that I really want to make sure that happens, I mean, obviously I'm not on the coaching staff, but this is what I would like to see, is that there's a good load management for Dostal. We've seen he's capable of playing a lot of games, but it did seem like he got a little overwhelmed towards the end there with the workload, and the numbers started to drop a little bit. And if the Ducks are going to be playing meaningful minutes and trying to make a playoff push, you want a good, healthy, mentally and physically Lukáš Dostál. One thing that is good, though, is they brought in some wonderful backups for him. I think Peter Mrazek's going to be a great guy to have in the locker room with Dostal. They're both from Czechia, so they're going to be able to really, have that native language to connect and work with each other. And then you got Ville Husso that's going to be popping back and forward, depending on how the year goes. I think he's going to be great down there for the San Diego Gulls. I really like the way that he showed up last year at the end of the season. But it really is going to be interesting to see the way that Dostal manages the pressure and everything. Looking at the junior record that he had, his record out in Europe, I did an episode a little while ago where I kind of went through the biography of Lukáš Dostál and kind of how he started and where he went through his junior hockey until he ended up with the Ducks. I did that right after he was signed. And you can see this guy loves the pressure. He does perform when he needs to. He took Czechia to a gold 2 years ago at the World Championships. He's able to really shut things down when it comes to down to the wire, whether it's those 1-goal games or it's tied. He really has that capability to lock in. But now this is a new season where he is officially a number 1 NHL goaltender. So I have a lot of faith in Dostal, and I think that he is going to do well. But the coaching staff really needs to be on top of their game and really make sure that he's healthy physically and mentally. I think it's okay to give him some breaks here and there and really let Mrazek come in and have some games. I don't think it's going to be one of those where, oh my gosh, good Lord, Mrazek's in net, watch out, now we're going to lose. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure relieved by having someone like Mrazek as the backup. And this new coaching staff, I really think is going to help out. I mean, you can really look at the Ducks' increase in points, and it comes down to the performance of Lukáš Dostál last year and a healthy John Gibson when he was in net. That tandem is pretty much the only reason the Ducks had the increase that they did. All of the other numbers, all the other statistics were dog poor. They were down at the bottom, pretty much bottom of the barrel for every single category except for goaltending. And now you're bringing in a coach that knows how to bring success to a team. He knows how to work with younger players. He knows how to get the best out of his players. And that's just the head coach. I'm gonna keep repeating this. I will die on this horse. But the fact that the Anaheim Ducks have 4 people on their coaching staff that could easily be head coaches and their assistant coaches is beyond me. Like, that is a stacked locker room. And all guys that know how to work with young players and young talent, and even the most veteran of veterans. They've worked with them all. They've had all of the personalities in their career, and now they're going to be able to bring that to this Ducks team that's ready to pop. You got a lot of players that are hungry, and the person backstopping all of this is the guy, Lukáš Dostál. He is fantastic. He's a absolute crowd favorite. He's got the looks. He's got the confidence. He's got the personality. Just an absolute gem of a guy. Super nice. Takes care of all the local fans, and he's wonderful to the staff. So it's going to be a good year for him, but it will come at a cost if the coaching staff does not work with the load management. That's really all this is coming down to, is how many games will Dostal play this year? And the only concern that I have is if things do go south, is he going to crack or is he going to stay mellow-headed? I don't want things to go south. I just worry about that confidence as you've just signed this contract. You're now officially the guy. And if it does go south a little bit, is that going to enter into a skid, or is he just going to regain? Is he going to coop back? How are they going to push that confidence and really make sure that he doesn't get stuck in a lull if a lull does happen? But looking at next year, this is my prediction of how Lukáš Dostál is going to do. I see him having a season save percentage of a .912, and I see a goals against average at a sub-3. I think that's very reasonable for him. And if we get the defensive team that we think we are going to get out of Quenneville and the coaching staff, I think sub-3 at the end of the year for Dostál is reasonable. Maybe it'll be just above 3, but I'm going with sub-3. I got confidence in our man. So that's what I'm looking at. But someone who is looking to have a rebound year not a new impressive year from last year, is the Ducks butcher of a captain. And I'll tell you what to expect this season coming up next. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all in one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy to use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I got grad school coming up. My son's in school. Hockey's going. All of these things. The fall is always the season of expenses, but with Monarch Money, I don't have to worry. It's all right there, right in front of me. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. So the final storyline that I want to get to today is that of the quote unquote return of Radko Gudas. Reports were back and forth at the end of last season. You got a mix of he's got an injury, he's getting surgery. Then you've got the Ducks saying, no, he's not getting surgery, he's good. And you could see his play on the ice and go, what happened to Gudas? That's not the Gudas that we wanted or remember. Like, what the heck is going on? Why is Jackson LaCombe doing all of the work? What happened? Well, it does turn out that Gudas was dealing with an injury at the end of the year, but he wasn't really confirmed or not on whether or not he wanted to do surgery. Well, it turns out that he decides to not go the invasive surgery route and does more of a physical therapy rehab type approach. And from what we're hearing now, all things are looking good. He's apparently feels much healthier. He feels stronger. He's extremely confident that the injury is no longer there. So he just came back to the States. He was out in Czechia doing some performance work, doing this whole rehab with medical professionals and just really making sure that he got his strength and everything back the way that he wanted it to try to come back NHL ready. Seemed like there was some question marks after all, but it looks all good now. And now he's back. He's in the States. He's working out at the rink, working on his drills, and he looks good out there. I'm going to tell you from just the couple of clips I've been seeing, um, his skating's looking good. He's looking fast. He looks like he's handling the puck confidently. He's shooting the puck well. Everything is really coming back together, and I think this is an absolute huge year for Gudas to make a statement as the captain of this team. I think that he knows that last year was not a good year for him. Hockey players are their biggest enemies, like they will beat themselves up, especially when they know that they're not performing or they feel like they're underperforming. And a guy like Radko Gudas, he's an absolute professional. So, he's thinking, all right, I'm the captain of this team. Last year was tough, especially at the end there. I was giving stuff up. I wasn't using the best angles. I was missing checks. I was letting Jackson LaCombe have to do up all the work for me. He's having these conversations and he's ready to come back. I think that with this up and coming team and really creating this core of players and seeing what this team looks like and really getting a couple of years now with this group and being the captain. And now he's looking at this new coaching staff. And this is someone who's played for Joel Quenneville before. He knows what's coming. He knows what it's like to be a Quenneville player, and he's going to know how to muster the guys up and get them going. It's like when, you're in the Marine Corps and you go to a new unit and you're a squad leader, and then all of a sudden you get a guy that comes and it's a officer that you had, and so now your platoon commander is someone that you worked with before, your company commander, someone that you've already worked with. You know how to, it's just subconscious. You know how to get the boys going. You know what's expected, and you know where to have those conversations of, hey, this isn't going to work with this coach, or this is going to work, or you should really try this, really try that. This is someone who's going to be able to do that. And then you have the mix of that knowledge and the expectations and really having that understanding of what's coming. Then you add in this rehabbed injury, this new strength, this new confidence, feeling good out there. I don't know if you listen to Spit and Chicklets, but you hear about it all the time from Ryan Whitney and Paul Bissonnette, that once you get that injury and it happens again, or once it's done, it kills you. You know it, you feel it. It's all there. Like, it breaks you down. And so to hear that he's feeling confident, he knows his body, and he's looking good out there on his edges. He's looking good with his stick handling. Everything is coming together really well for him in this training season. Obviously, training camp's going to be a different beast. It can look a certain way when you're working individually with the skills coach, and then you get up to, the whole team level and things change. But I think Gudas is going to have a great year. I think there's going to be a change in his defensive mindset. I think he's going to be a lot more heads up, and I think he's going to be a really good partner for Jackson LaCombe this year. And honestly, if Gudas comes back the way that I'm expecting him to come back and plays his style of hockey, the way that, the Stanley Cup winning caliber Radko Gudas hockey that exists out there, and his ability to play really well in the playoffs, everything that's we've seen out of Radko Gudas in his career, I think it's going to just multiply, and he's going to come back. He's going to implement this, and you're going to really get to see the wisdom and the leadership of why he was picked as the captain. And then, honestly, Gudas and LaCombe have an opportunity to be one of the top first line pairings in the entire league, at least the Pacific Division. I think they'll be right up there. I think people are going to be on notice for that pair. And when they come into the Honda Center and they come in, or the Ducks are going there, they're going to know that they're going to have to get past Gudas and LaCombe. Those are going to be the pair to watch out for. That's going to be on everyone's radar for them. And then behind that, after a healthy Gudas, a healthy Jackson LaCombe, you've got a Lukáš Dostál to deal with. So that back end of Anaheim's going to be looking well. Then you've got Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson bringing the heat up top, and Chris Kreider coming in, Mikhail Granlund. There's going to be a massive change in the way that teams prepare for playing against the Anaheim Ducks, and it's no longer going to be a walk in the park, or should I say a walk on the beach. So those are the three storylines I got into, with Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier being the dynamic duo and really being the top headline stealers of this season for Anaheim. Then you got Lukáš Dostál, first year as the legitimate 1A goaltender and being the guy and really owning up to that contract. And then Radko Gudas coming back healthy, ready to be the captain of this really talented squad that is coming up. And I think he's going to be the guy taking him to the playoffs. I think there's going to be a good push, and Gudas is going to be right there leading the charge. So a lot of good things coming out. If there's other storylines that you are thinking of, or you think that it's, something that's going to be really the culmination of what 25-26 is going to look like for the Ducks, let me know. I would love to hear it. I'd love to talk about it. And we'll see how things go. I'm excited for this season. So close to the rookie face-off. And yeah, I just want to know what storylines are you looking for this year? And I'll tell you about a Locked On storyline I'm excited about. It's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Hawley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football kickoff, or a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the Locked On Anaheim Ducks on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out all of the great content that Locked On is providing for you. And as always, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.